Hello, this is Balancedpyro. Sorry for the sound quality, my computer doesn't really like me right now. But this is in response to Lichen 101's topic, D&D Next. I am excited for D&D Next. I'm basically Dungeons & Dragons fanboy, if you call me that. It's pretty much true. Um, there's this one main concern I have, and that's DMing, or game mastering. When I first DM'd, I had no experience. I was given eight 3.5 books and was told create a campaign. Didn't go very well. And one thing and since then I've years experience. I've also DM'd in Pathfinder. And one thing I like, and I hope they do, is what 3.5 did in other generations, where there's a Dungeon Master book and a Player's Handbook. Now, if any of you are familiar with the 3.5 Dungeon Master Guide, not all of it was completely relevant to the DM. The magic items, for example, was better suited in the Player's Handbook. What Pathfinder did was combine those two, which I did not like. It made it really difficult, especially if you're one group sharing the same book, because people are looking for their stats for spells and stuff, yet you need the DM section. And yes, it costs more money for two books, but for me in 3.5, it was significantly easier to DM when the players could have the player's handbook and the DM had his own book. Um, Another thing I'm concerned about is ease to new DMs. One of the players in my group at home has started DMing for his friends, and he's asked me quite a few questions. Some of them I had trouble with when I first started, like money. Like money equipment. His main problem was creatures. How to know, um, to know what creatures to send an opponent, how well they can handle that. And while some comes from experience, the 3.5 monster manuals aren't the best for helping. Pathfinder has improved that with monsters by like terrain, so it makes sense. Like you won't find a water creature in the desert, and it helps the DM out. One thing I'm hoping from D&D Next is the ease of use for new players. Because let's face it, if you played for more than 5 years, have DM'd, no matter what D&D Next does, you pretty much can understand most of it. Um, their ability or intent to combine all the best of 3.5 and third edition, second edition, fourth is very. I like it a lot, but what makes me wonder, what are the best points? While having the access of many different characters in 3.5 is great, there's some stuff people would not like in there that other people thought would be great. For example, reserve spells. If, for any of you who are unfamiliar, if reserve spells is a feat, like let's say electricity, that as long as you have a level 3 or higher electricity spell, you can cast unlimited 3d6 in a 60-foot line, I believe. Those people loved, but they were also difficult because you could go around and not care about your spells because you don't have to use them. Um, Another thing I'm concerned about is the feats. 3.5 had lots of feats. Pathfinder had lots of feats. There are feats I look at in both generations and think, how is that ever going to be useful? I would like to see a consolidation of feats. So you don't have like books of pages of feats that are completely irrelevant. They're only specific to this instance at this time, kind of thing. I kind of my DM style and gameplay style is more of you always want my players to have options, and I do not like it when they take feats that focus on one thing that's only going to happen once. Um, I just finished tonight DMing my campaign, and I was asked early on by one of my players, why is my campaign world a mixture of 3.5 and Pathfinder? And it's in essence the same way as D&D Next. I'm taking things that I like from both and combining them into a game that my players seem to enjoy. Um, for example, I have an arcane archer in my group. He uses the Pathfinder arcane archer, Pathfinder fighter, but he's using a war mage from 3.5, which in my mind makes sense than any other type of spellcaster for arcane archer. And then again, I haven't read into many of like a complete warrior or that's 3.5 ultimate combat, ultimate magic for Pathfinder, but there are many positives and negatives I see in both Pathfinder and 3.5 that I'm hoping D&D Next would fix. um, I'm hoping the grapple system is kind of copied or taken ideas from Pathfinder, because in 3.5, bull running, grapple, stuff like that were really annoying, and I like how Pathfinder made it all easy, made it easier by using a combat maneuver bonus against their combat maneuver defense. Another thing I liked in Pathfinder was consolidation of skills. In 3.5, you had to listen, spot, and search, which they combined into perception, which was great. Instead of putting a whole bunch in the spot and not listen, basically your awareness, it made sense. One thing I am upset that they took away, and that I hope D&D Next would put in, is concentration skill. Pathfinder took it out, and while their system does make sense, I always found it annoying during boss battles how the spellcasters could not cast spells because they could never pass the concentration checks. One thing I'm also hoping for D&D Next is the, excuse the English literature term, the lack of fluff. If you look in the 3.5 class, their special abilities, there's not really a lot unless you're a rogue or something like that, while Pathfinder has added a whole bunch of special abilities for each class, so when you level up, you feel like you're getting something. And the problem I see with that is that you're not always getting something that can help you, or you can get something that hinders you. When I first played Pathfinder, I was a sorcerer, and my sorcerer's bloodline was fire elemental. And when you any bloodline, you get bonus spells. Mine were combat based, obviously. And so when I leveled up and got second level spells, I chose Scorching Ray. Scorching Ray is one of my favorite second level offense spells. Now, when you are given bonus spells for an elemental bloodline in Pathfinder, this bonus spell turns into the element of your choice. Problem I had, I didn't notice this until it was too late, is that Scorching Ray is already fire. Being a fire elemental sorcerer, I lost the bonus spell because you can't have two of the same known spells. And that's one thing I'm hoping that they take notice to, is that stuff like that can really ruin the flow of a character, and that kind of just ruins the experience when you could have had access to this amazing thing, but by misreading it, you lost that great ability altogether. These are my opinions. Let me know what you guys think. As always, this is Balancedpyro. Good night.